There's an old Indian proverb I know, and it goes something like this. There's two wolves inside of you, and they fight constantly. One wolf represents the concept of good, and the other wolf represents the concept of evil. And the one that wins is the one you feed. I think that's a beautiful representation of the reality of the spiritual struggle we go through day by day. Whether we have a propensity for good or whether we have a propensity to do evil, it all depends on the habits we took the time to form. I truly feel like this concept, even though it would seem simple and almost elementary to understand, holds such profound value that in today's life it often goes overlooked. People today who live their life in what we now call normal, the Bible will call worldly. But people who today live these normal worldly lives and then all of a sudden try to pick up a Bible and go by spiritual otherworldly concepts usually find that the Bible and the information it holds are foreign and not relevant to the situations and the circumstances we find ourselves in today. I truly believe this is only because of the habits that we formed. If we spent so many years of our lives doing it our way, going with what the world says is normal and what the world says we should do, and then we try to pick up a Bible and go by that, it'll seem so foreign because it literally goes against everything that we've believed in and everything we've practiced for so long. The mind of the carnal man cannot understand the spiritual concepts of the Bible. The Bible says that to him that understands and has wisdom, the words of God will be knowledge and life to his bones. But to all else, it would be seen as foolishness. And we see the truth in that with how the world today reacts to the Bible and the concepts that it holds dear. In order to make the change from carnal, fleshly man to the spiritual man the Bible calls us today, we have to go back to square one. We have to tear down whatever we build up, whatever concepts we made our life around, and go back and rebuild a new life with the foundations of the biblical concepts. And in order to do that, we need to do what the Bible calls the renewing of the mind. Now, if I worked at McDonald's my whole life, and all of a sudden I quit, and I walked into Burger King and applied for a job wearing my McDonald's uniform, I don't think it would work out too good. Or if I somehow got the job and didn't want to put down my McDonald's uniform, but I was in Burger King using my McDonald's uniform, still practicing McDonald's policies and still using McDonald's tools and the McDonald's way of thinking, how could I, in all logic, expect to find success in the new world of Burger King I now find myself in? In all actuality, I wouldn't be able to. The fact that I would even try to force Burger King to accept my McDonald's way of life is ludicrous. In order to find success in the Burger King world, I will have to renew my mind and recondition myself to the new circumstances I find myself in using the new rule book that I would get in order to find success in my new environment. This key concept, something so simple and yet so profound, is so often overlooked. And I think this is the root cause of a lot of the reasons why modern day Christians fail to get the results of the walk of their Christian life that they want to. Without the proper renewing of the mind, we would quickly be convinced by worldly circumstances and worldly situations, and we would quickly go back to our old way of life, our old way of thinking, our old mindsets. And because it didn't work, because we tried to force a spiritual awakening using a carnal thinking, our efforts would prove fruitless, our faith would be snuffed out, and Satan would have his victory. We want to force God to accept us no matter if we follow his laws or not. We want to force the Bible to say things we want it to say to back up our current belief system. We don't want to change to conform ourselves to the Bible. And I truly believe that because we don't want to change, that's why we don't see the change we expect to see in our life. And instead of truly admitting to ourselves that we haven't really followed the instructions so clearly laid out in the Bible, we tend to blame God and we tend to quit and leave the Bible alone and have nothing to do with it. That's the biggest trap, and that's the biggest pitfall of my generation especially, but in America as a whole, I feel at this point in time. We need a renewing of the mind. We can't expect something we've never seen before without doing something we've never done before. If we keep doing the same things we've always done, we will keep getting the same results we have always gotten, regardless of any new literature we may have picked up to read. Because without the renewing of the mind, without reading it from a spiritual place, that's all the Bible is another piece of literature on a shelf. We need to start, following the concepts as if they are literal. I know that's a foreign concept nowadays, but so also are the blessings that are spoken of in the Bible. They're foreign. Very few often do I see people living in the Old Testament revelations of who God says he is. I very rarely see people even living in the New Testament revelation of who Jesus reinferred that God is. We want the Bible to bend to our will. We don't want to change ourselves to conform to God's will. And I think that's where the disparage lies. I think that's where all the contention lies. And I think that is the root cause of all of the problems in our Christian faith walk in this modern day age. We need a renewing of the mind before we can see and experience the reward of the Bible and the recompense of the righteous. Without being renewed, we cannot be restored. And until we are restored, we will not see the rewards spoken of in the Bible. Thank you for spending this time with me. God bless you and your family. And I hope you appreciated this message. There will be more to come. Thank you.